to it or out of it
Right.
situation. It's like, no, it's just kind of bad, but you're okay with it, so it's whatever. Um, Speaking of logic or
Mm.
lack thereof, um, so the Summer Game Fest was just this past weekend, and we got an announcement from uh and I'm gonna come back to the art directors thing in a second, but we had an announcement from RGG, Sega's in-house development studio. They are making a game called, Stranger Than Heaven, and this is essentially, it's like, the Yakuza series, but different in a way. It's still an adventure game or action adventure game, story heavy, uh, third person, set in, I want to say Japan. I could be wrong there. I need to double check, but I believe it's set in Japan, and it's the timing of it is it's like a 19, I don't know, 50s or something like that. Like it's old. It's not like a modern telling of this story, and it has to do with these two orphans who go from the U.S. to Japan, and they get into the underworld of Japan, and become, people in a sense, where one person I think is like a Yakuza boss, and another person is like a enforcer, and they have these run-ins, and it's interesting. In and of itself is interesting. And I want
Mm.
to make that clear because I feel like certain moves recently aren't uh they take away from the interesting aspects of it, and they make it feel like the devs didn't think that their story could stand on its own, which is really odd
Mm.
because Sega's been doing pretty well, from what I've seen as of late. But one of the things that was interesting was the fact that Snoop Dogg is in the game. He's a character. He is a smuggler who takes these two orphans to Japan, and they eventually grow up, and he's in their lives as they grow up, and all this other stuff. And so we're like, oh, this is interesting. I don't know why he's in the game, like a
Right.
character with like, because he doesn't feel he feels kind of out of place. And similarly to, like, if you see, like, RZA will do a film, kung fu film, and he'll just kind of be in there as one of the kung fu masters or whatever. And it's like I can kind of I just see RZA for the most part, but
Mhm.
at the very least, he's trying to fit in with the time of whatever is happening in the film, and not to be a distraction. Whereas Snoop's before, and granted, we haven't seen his full performance, it was kind of like, okay, I see Snoop. I don't really see whoever he's trying to be, but whatever. That's a thing that happens with video games. Cool.
Mm.
But then they show a new trailer, and they show Tupac Shakur. They have a cameo of him apparently in the game, and I've actually read that I think he's playable, which I think is even worse than what I think this is.
So wild.
But he's in the game, and his likeness is in the game. I'm guessing someone's going to voice him. Sega and Snoop Dogg said that it wasn't made by AI. This is all coded by hand, and that they got you know permission from the Shakur estate and whatnot, and he, for whatever reason, Snoop was like, it makes sense to put Tupac in here. He would want to be in a video game or whatever. And initially I was like, this is, first of all, there was the shock of him showing up. Like, he just walks out of the shadows as himself. And I'm like, okay, what? Like,
Right.
bandana tied in the front and everything. I'm like, what are we doing here? But then the explanation came, and I was like, oh, oh no. Um,
Makes no sense.
it just makes no sense. Like, whatever type of period piece you were trying to make, you've just destroyed all sense of fantasy that was going to be here. Like, it just it's just he stands out for obvious reasons. But then there's also this idea of the estate. Now, personally, I don't care what the estate says. I don't care, unless he had something in his will that said, I would like to be put in a game that I never heard of
Which she
after
did
I've
not.
died. Um, that
But
is the
he
only
had
way
himself.
I am cool with that, and that's not to be disrespectful of any family, but I kinda it's kinda disrespectful to be like, this person will be cool with it for money, mind you, because this isn't free. So
Mhm.
to be like, because it's one of those things where, like, you kinda inherently feel kinda shaky saying, because it's for money, right? So yeah, Tupac would love to be in this game with Snoop for money. Even though he's deceased, he would have loved it for
Mm.
money. Like, you have to add that part because I'm doing this for
Mhm.
money, right? And because of that, you have to kind of go, wait, are you saying this because you want money? Because you're the one getting the money? He isn't, and his family isn't. Come to find out that his mother left the estate in I forgot the person's name. Darn, it was a guy who was the former head. Oh, Tom, I think his name is Whaley, the former
Mhm.
head of
Something
Warner
like
Brothers
that.
Records.
Mhm.
Shout out to Kotaku for supplying the name. Um, and he's been accused of embezzling money, and Tupac's sister has been suing him to try to get access of the estate. So it's already real funky before the announcement of this video game. But
Mhm.
now we find out that the estate isn't even his family saying that it's okay. It's some random white dude. And
Yeah.
I don't want to say random because obviously she trusted him. His mother trusted him at the time to take care of the estate, but he's coming off as a random white dude who wants money right now.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's just very icky and not cool, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm not telling anybody that they shouldn't play it or that they should play it. I'm telling you where I stand. I will not be purchasing this game. This is not any grandstanding on my end. I just think it's nasty. Like,
Mhm.
he has no say in this. And the estate is all funky, and it doesn't even fit anyways. If this was like an urban thing, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this was like
Right.
a retelling of something or some type of documentary, but made because Pharrell did the documentary in Legos. Like, if they did some type of thing with him and it was a video game format, mm, I
Mhm.
still know, but at least it would make a little bit more sense than a period piece in Japan.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's strange, just like the name. It's strange. Very, very
Yep.
strange.
Agreed. Very much so.
I don't get it. What were your thoughts when I sent you the outside of shock? What was your
Right.
thoughts?
Yeah, well, shock really was it. That's the issue. I mean, I'm like, I just don't understand why Tupac is in a game. I
Yeah,
don't like. I'm like, excuse me. I'm sitting here. The first thing that I'm seeing, I'm seeing Tupac in a game. I'm like, what is Stranger Than Heaven? I don't know what that is. And I'm like, because if I think Tupac's in a game, especially with the bandana on his head like that, I'm
right.
thinking that it's Grand Theft Auto. I'm thinking that it's something else. Like I'm just thinking some that he's not gonna be. Tupac was not a real gangbanger. He decided he wanted to be a gangbanger. Okay, like he kind of was. Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking. I'm like, is this a reverse Clark Kent? Like you know what I mean? Like, what kind of game are we playing? Are we playing
Right.
where the guy who likes to write poetry then becomes and starts rapping, then decides he wants to be a gangbanger. Like what I'm sorry, I was very confused. Very,
Yeah,
very confused. I'm very
everyone
confused
was.
that that what's his name? Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg just seems right now to just be on the grift. Like he is doing anything that makes money. I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. He decided that he wanted to go sing, be on stage for Trump. He did all kinds of like I don't know what Snoop is doing. I don't know who this person is anymore. So I just find this whole thing to be very, very strange. I just, no pun intended, everybody. Stranger than heaven.
Right, right, right.
But I just find it to be I find it to be weird and like rage baity. Like Sega, what are you doing? And then just because we then find out that Tupac's sister is in this legal battle with the estate's executor is really bad. And I'm saying,
Yeah,
there's just no way around this stuff. This is messy, and but it also just doesn't need to happen. It doesn't.
right.
I don't understand what the point is in being in. I don't get it. So
Yeah, I
many
don't
questions.
like because it makes you think like he's been so he passed away what 30 years ago.
Something like
Um,
that. Is he rapping in this game? In this game?
they haven't all they showed was like him walking out, and then they cut the trailer there. And then Snoop comes out and he goes into his whole spill. But it's like, did you think like what did you think? I don't even know who the target audience is
Yeah.
anymore. I don't know what did you not think the story was good enough to actually sell? Like it feels like Sega was like, "Hey, we need some rappers in this thing to sell this game," and I really feel like they didn't because it looked good. It looked really good when they were showing it off.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, they've been around the block. They're talented. Like, why would you need to do this? And then of all rappers you pick, you didn't pick like a Kendrick. You know,
Yeah.
he's pretty hot right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You didn't even pick a Drake. You know, as
True.
asinine as that might have been, you didn't pick him.
Right.
You didn't pick.
Yeah, Jason.
I mean, there's just a lot of there's a lot of different picks. You could have picked actors. Like that would have
Yeah.
been better. Like, hey, famous actors are in this game that's very story based. That's very, there's a solid narrative. You got actors from films. Cause I mean, we see this all the time where, you know, it won't be the act it would be the actor because they voice a character. They'll be, use motion cap or whatever uh to be them visually. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm. Mhm.
the person's face in the game will have the same face as the actor or whatever. I probably said that the wrong way, but whatever. You get what I'm saying. And that's a thing. That's been a thing for years. Call of Duty has had several actors as soldiers pop up, and it's a big thing, right? And so that would make more sense. Like, hey, Stranger Than Heaven needs a bit of Hollywood to sell, we think. And so how about we go get this actor, who's been in
Mhm.
all these films lately, Michael B. Jordan, it would still be weird, but at the very least it would make like you could kind of see where the logic went left, right? You can kind of see like, okay, you were going down here, and then he just won an Oscar. Okay, I see where you were going. All right. He's also been in period pieces, maybe not like this, but he's done some of this stuff before, and he's done voice work before. So yeah, this could be a thing. Like I could see how you can kind of make this pivot, but I don't see how you were like Tupac, and I know like Snoop potentially because he does he I think he announced Death Row Gaming since he bought Death Row Records. He wants to get into gaming, and an easy way is to do voice acting right now, as opposed to paying for to have a game completely, um, developed. Like I think RZA is actually doing that. Wu Tang has a game that's going to be coming out soon, or I don't know soon, but they announced the game, and so as opposed to doing that, you're gonna latch onto a game that could potentially be popular,
Mhm.
but to then go and be like, oh, let me grab Tupac and not anybody else, not
Yeah.
anybody who's alive, not anybody else who could act. You go and grab Tupac. What was your like outside of
Mm.
the only thing I can think of is like outside of him getting money is uh potentially the family could get some money from this, and maybe he didn't know that the estate wasn't controlled by the family anymore. Like maybe he
Mhm.
thought like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get a lot of money from this. Maybe I could help them out by putting Tupac in the game." Like that's the only thing I can see because
Mhm.
this isn't something I don't see people buying this for Tupac. Is what I'm trying to get at. I don't people see people going, you know what, that Stranger Than Heaven game. I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I'm kind of on the fence. Oh, Tupac is in it. I gotta get it. I don't see that online at all. That has not been the thing. Either people don't care about it or they're disgusted. That has been the
Mhm.
response. So, what is happening?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what is happening. I want it all to end.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
don't.
want it to end. I think it's foolish. I think it's weird. It's silly, and I don't get it. I can't wrap my head around it. So I'm just at a loss. I don't know. I'm like, if this was Enzoy, I would be okay with it because like how you wanted to look all hyper realistic and then you want to sit down at your computer and burn tracks. I totally see that for Tupac.
But even then, right? It'll probably be someone makes them like the making a me in on the
Mhm.
Nintendo system. It's like, oh, I made Tupac, and you can download them with this code. People
Mhm.
will still feel
Yeah.
a way about it, but at the very least, it's not. This is not an advertising. It's someone made it. They created something in the game, um, using the tools from the game. to make a celebrity. That's people have done that forever, right? But we've never seen this. I don't think we've ever seen this on the big stage where they just announce him. Like the closest thing I can think of is when an actor is in a game and they recently passed away and the game comes out after he passed. So, for instance, they announced and granted he was alive at the time, but they announced Spider-Man 2, and then they announced that Venom was being voiced by uh his name just fell out of my head. Give me a sec. It's the person who played Candyman, um Tony Todd. So they announced that he was going to be Venom. He's gonna be the voice of Venom, and unfortunately, shortly after, I want to say the game was out prior to him. Yeah, the game was out prior to him passing, because he passed in November of 2024. Um, he I can see that happening where like they're like, we're doing this in the memory of, or Lance Reddick, with his involvement in Destiny, like that kind of makes sense because the person was alive to actually voice the character before they
Uh-huh.
pass. Only
Mhm.
time I've seen this. Something
Right.
similar. This is it's strange. It's strange. It's strange.